Hey guys, welcome to my channel again. Thank you so much for keeping up with me and keep tuning in. Apologize for being late, had some technical difficulties last night, but we back at it again. Today I'll be doing a review on Raising Dion. It's a new TV series out on Netflix. A young mother is struggling to protect her son as she tries to show him how to control his newfound powers, as she also investigates the death of his dad and her husband. It is starring Josiah Young, Alicia Wainwright, Jason Ritter, and Michael B. Jordan. This was not your everyday superhero movie, TV show. Lately there have been a lot of different superhero franchises that have been going on. This is a lot different from that, in my opinion. It wasn't very predictable. Like there was some predictability to it because he is a superhero or has power. I wouldn't really call him a superhero because he hasn't really like saved anyone yet, but he's newfound powers, and so he's really, throughout most of the series, really struggling to just like learn what he can do and how he can control it to not expose it, and just really trying to figure out where exactly that did these powers come from. The plot itself was very interesting to me, and it was interesting enough to make me want to watch the entire thing, despite there other things that I'm going to talk about later that I didn't really particularly care for about the show. It definitely made me want to watch episode to episode to episode and just like finish it out in one sitting, because I really wanted to know what was going on, and the plot just seemed like it got thicker and thicker and developed even more as time went on, which is something I really liked. It was very well paced. It was very well paced in the release of information, and we knew just enough to like make us want to know more, which I really appreciated, but we didn't know too much at once. Like it was like we were told what we needed to know for when we needed to know it, and we were told more later when we needed to know it. One thing that surprised me about this show that I wasn't really expecting was its diversity, and its diversity in topics. It touched on a lot of topics that are very relevant in the world today, and I feel like will always be relevant in the world. It talked about racism and how a parent should have a talk with their African-American child, especially a African-American male, on how people are going to view them because of the color of their skin, and what injustices they will have to face throughout life. So talked about disabilities, which was something that really caught me off guard, because you don't see a lot of shows having representation for disabled people, so I really appreciated that. It's about domestic violence in a way that I was not expecting. It came out of nowhere, and then it wasn't like they didn't like make it a teaching moment every time. It was kind of very, it was one thing, it was like, because when I was younger I felt like each show, even if it wasn't animated, kind of had a theme to it, and kind of had a lesson to be learned at the end, and it kind of felt like that, but it wasn't for each episode. Like each episode wasn't like, let's teach them this in this episode, teach them this in this episode. It was just like things that like naturally came up because of the representation that it had in its cast, and then in the characters of the story. Also, it touched on LGBTQ issues and things of that nature. Then he wasn't a perfect superhero. This was a superhero who had asthma, and like as a person who grew up with asthma, that was really cool to see. Like you don't see, usually when you see superheroes, they're pretty perfect unless it's like a characteristic flaw, like oh they're greedy, or oh they are like mean, or things like that. But this was like a physical thing that he had, and even though he was a superhero and he had these powers, he still had asthma at the same time and had to carry around an inhaler, which was really cool to see. He also, this is kind of common for superheroes, I feel like, he also wasn't very popular. He didn't fit in with the cool crowd, and so that was also really cool to see, and I feel like kids will really appreciate seeing that. Y'all know how I feel about acting. If you've watched previous videos of mine, the acting left a lot to be desired, and parts of it wasn't all on the actors. Like I feel like the dialogue was very forced. It wasn't natural. It made things very awkward and very weird, which is, I would account more to the story writing than the actual acting of it, but the acting didn't help either to like make it less awkward and make it feel more natural. There was also a lot of delayed responses. I don't know if this was sometimes it seemed like an editing issue, like maybe there was cut, like the scene, the shot was like a little cut too long, and so it made it seem like there was a delay in responses from one character to the next when they were talking to each other. But this also could have just been an acting, in some scenes it was just an acting thing, to where the responses, like they would say something, they would sit there for a second and then say their response, and then a lot of times things were just way too animated, too much, like there was just too much emphasis, like they were overdoing it, like overly acting in some scenes. I found this a lot in the child Josiah, but I think it was meant to be like that because he is a kid and because he's playing such a young kid. Little kids do act like this, but it still felt forced. And then a lot of times, like even with his mentor, when she was like teaching him how to control his powers, when she was talking to his mother, she was very overly animated for someone who was her age, and so that just made it feel a lot less real, made it seem like the acting was a lot to be desired, and so but that tells you how good I felt like the plot was, because I ignored the acting. I cringed a little bit sometimes, but I ignored the acting to continue to watch and see what was going on in the show. Also, the special effects was not the best in some scenes. In some scenes, it was really good, but in a lot of scenes, it kind of felt like it was layered. Like it was layered on. Like this is the scene, and then like the artist just drew on top of the already shot scene, and it seemed more like a drawing than like it was happening in real time with the characters. And that's kind of the point of a lot of these special effects, especially with superheroes. Like if he's conjuring up this big ball of light, you want to be able to like feel like he's like conjuring it up, not like he's just like holding his hands like this and like there's a ball that was drawn to put in that place. And so I mean, Netflix, I'm pretty sure all the shows don't get these large budgets to have these amazing special effects like a movie that went to the theater would have, but that was just something that I noticed. It wasn't like a big thing that made me like, oh, I don't want to watch this because the special effects are so bad, because like I've watched the movie, I've seen how special effects have progressed throughout the years, and like it wasn't like horrible like it was made in the 90s, but it just doesn't seem like it was like a TV show made in 2019. All in all, I thought it was a really good show. Like I said, the acting left a lot to be desired, but the plot is good enough that it will get you through it. I think that with the messages that it sends and like the diversity of the cast, I definitely think that everybody should watch it. I feel like everybody will find some part of them in it that they will enjoy. If you don't usually like superhero shows or things about people with powers, and this is not really your cup of tea, then I would say don't watch it, because that is what it is. But if like that's something that you're interested in, or something you may be interested in, if you like a lot of those topics that it touched on, I definitely think you should watch it. It's a good plot, has Michael B. Jordan in it, and his acting is really good in it, and that his whole side of the story is very, very interesting. I definitely would say check it out. I would rate this show a B+. I really like enjoyed watching it. Like even though the acting was like I enjoyed watching it, and like if it has a second season, I will be watching it. It's something that I will be looking forward to. It's something that I want to see again, and like I kind of wish that I hadn't watched it so fast, because I want to be able to just sit and enjoy it. So yeah, check it out. Thank you so much for coming and watching my review. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want me to review. Like someone requested that I reviewed this, and so I reviewed it. Tell me what you want to see on my channel, and that's what I will give you as far as content. Spread the word, tell other people about it. Thank you so much again for coming, and have a great day.